One of these is infused with poison, the other is not. Choose the correct one and you live. Choose the wrong one and you die.
But I can't swallow pills.
We found the body in here.
Securing the scene is an essential step in successful crime scene processing. The first step when law enforcement arrives is to check the safety of individuals. Their next priority should be sectioning off the scene with crime scene tape. This establishes a perimeter around the crime scene that only authorized personnel are allowed access into. A common approach path is another important part of securing the scene. First responders cannot wander through scenes unnecessarily because their movements could disturb evidence. Therefore, a clear, planned, common approach path minimizes the risk of contaminating the evidence and ensures the scene remains completely intact. Separate and interview witnesses. This is done to prevent them from discussing details with each other, which could influence their testimonies later on. Each witness is interviewed individually and their statements documented.
I wanted to go to an abandoned building with my friend. We wanted to come exploring, and while we were exploring, we came across the room with the victim in the building, and we saw that she was laying down dead. We didn't really look too much at her body because I'm not gonna lie, we were kind of scared. So when we saw the body, we just called 911, and then the police showed up.
Okay, did you happen to see anybody come out of the room before that?
Well, we heard noises in the building. We thought other people were here, but you know, because it's a building, a lot of people usually come here at nighttime. And, you know, I just thought I heard someone walking by, but I didn't actually see anybody else.
Okay, can you describe the noises that you heard?
I heard footsteps. Like, I mean, obviously it wasn't ours. It was just us two as far as we were aware. But we did hear other footsteps, so we suspected there was someone else in the building. And, but yeah, that was pretty much it. We just really heard other footsteps, but we didn't do much of it.
Can you sense, like, what location the footsteps?
CSI wear specialized PPE outfits to protect both themselves and the evidence. These outfits come with gloves, shoe covers, and full-body suits to avoid leaving trace evidence at crime scenes.
Name and occupation.
Wendy Marocho, CSI agent.
Once the scene is secured and the witnesses are separated, CSI can finally begin to search for evidence. They will choose a search method, such as grid or spiral searches, depending on the scene. The spiral method, which is being employed in this video, begins at the center of the crime scene and moves in a circular motion outwards. As evidence is found, it is marked with placards. These are small numbered signs that help investigators keep track of where each item was discovered. Crime scene sketches are an essential part of documenting the crime scene. CSI will sketch the layout of a scene, marking down the locations of evidence and the body. The sketch always includes a key, which will list all of the numbered evidence and its corresponding description. Every sketch must include an accurate scale and measurements to help recreate the scene. These measurements are taken using tools like measuring tape to help record the distance between key points on a crime scene. Forensic photography is an absolutely necessary part of crime scene processing. A forensic photographer must take 4 types of photographs: an overview, a mid-range photograph, a close-up photograph, and photographs of evidence with scale. This ensures you get a picture of the entire scene from multiple angles, pictures of individual pieces of evidence, zoom-ins on individual pieces of evidence, and the size of each item in relation to the surroundings. This is a comprehensive approach that ensures that no evidence is overlooked and the photographs can be used for analysis in courtrooms. In evidence collection, every item must be handled with care. Each piece of evidence is carefully collected using gloves or tweezers to avoid contamination. Evidence is then placed into its appropriate container, like paper bags for clothing or plastic vials for liquids. Biological materials are not placed in plastic vials as that can potentially ruin the DNA evidence. Once evidence is collected, each item is placed into a properly labeled and sealed evidence bag. The label includes the case number, description of evidence, the collector's name, and the date and time of collection. The bag is then sealed with evidence tape and signed across the seal to ensure it hasn't been tampered with. Every piece of evidence must follow the chain of custody. The chain of custody is a documented record of who has handled the evidence from the moment it's collected to the moment it's presented in court. This record is crucial to maintaining the integrity of evidence and making sure it hasn't been tampered with, or tracking tampering if it occurs. Any break in the chain leads to questions about the validity of the evidence and could potentially jeopardize an entire case. If there is a body present, a medical examiner will be needed to determine the cause and manner of death. The medical examiner will examine the body at the crime scene and document the position of the body, as well as any injuries before the body is moved to the morgue for a full autopsy. Their work is crucial in figuring out the time and manner of death,